Hello, it's Nathan Eismer again. Today we're going to be going over customer segmentation. Customer segmentation is about taking time to explore and refine your business model based on the identification of the highest priority group of customers. The goal of this workshop is to understand that customer segmentation is finding commonalities for a group of people who have a need that your solution can address. We'll talk about customer roles and how that impacts problem solution fit, as well as understanding and hopefully hammer home that a customer is a person, not a company. And as a person, they have similar specific needs and wants, similar pains that need to be addressed, or similar gains that can be created. Your job is to figure out what those are and how your solution meets those needs and satisfies those wants. A helpful way to understand customer segments is to divide them up according to the jobs they are trying to get done. Jobs can be understood as the tasks they are trying to perform, the problems they are trying to solve, and the needs that they are trying to satisfy. While completing these jobs, customers hope to experience gains and minimize pains. Your value proposition to a customer is not the features of your technology. Your value proposition to a customer is to help create gains and to help relieve pains while they complete their jobs. Gains can be created in multiple contexts. When interviewing your customer, you should seek to learn how they keep score. What are their objectives? What do they consider a gain? Is it money? Is it time? Is it risk? Is it emotion? Less stress, achievement, satisfaction, for example. When you seek to help your customer avoid pain, it's important to understand and trust the customer perspective rather than your own opinion about their pains. Pain occurs on a spectrum, ranging from being a nuisance to being a big deal. We refer to big pain points as a shark bite level pain, which is to say that it's a pain level that requires a solution. When I was an industry mentor with a aviation team, the entrepreneurial lead had developed an airfoil that could perform better in a stall, and thought that his customer segment was going to be perhaps fixed wing or aerobatic air show performers, as they might experience stall. But by asking about the performance during this stall, he realized that it wasn't really that big of a deal. That sure, it could happen, but the general consensus was that the fixed wing community didn't care. What it did find out was that the noise reducing capabilities of the airfoil that he designed was a much bigger pain point for the drone industry. And so by going through and identifying these pains, my entrepreneurial lead was able to drill down to it and actually had to pivot from who he thought his original customer segment might be to a more specific one. You need to be honest about how big of a problem is for your customer and how much of a pain reduction your solution can offer. Key concept here is it's important to understand the job your potential customer is trying to accomplish, and this is going to help you identify a priority customer segment. Here's a thought experiment. Imagine you invented a technology that increases the efficiency of internal combustion engines used in transportation by 30%. Think of at least one thing you own or have used that has an internal combustion engine. For me, how about my snowblower? Everybody wants to save money on fuel, so your hypothetical internal combustion engine technology could be used everywhere engines are used today. But where are you going to start and why? Customer segmentation is about finding commonalities. So for our thought experiment today, we're going to focus on internal combustion engines in the transportation industry sector. You'll notice here that I have also defined some additional segmentation based on application: passenger vehicles, commercial vehicles, aerospace and marine vehicles, off-road vehicles, and so on. In each of these, you can continue to segment as you see here based on use and application types for each area. These are all further ways to segment customers and think about applications of your technology. So how does this help you identify customer segments with the greatest need? Let's drill down on the customer segment that uses pickup trucks. Remember that most startups have limited resources and cannot target everyone. Limited resources and time drives the need to focus on a particular segment. Suppose this is a work truck. What are the jobs to be done? There could be a focus on fuel efficiency for high mileage drives. What if we switch to a construction truck? What jobs to be done? The focus could change to expanded payload capacity, for example. Suppose this is a commuter truck. What jobs could be done? What if it's an RV tow vehicle? What jobs do they have to be done? Horsepower becomes more important than fuel efficiency, for example. Light duty pickup truck owners can be divided into customer segments by taking a few moments to analyze the jobs that need to be done. You can repeat this process over and over in different ways. Interview different segments and learn about their jobs to be done. It's okay to consider multiple customer segments initially, but not for long. As you learn about their challenges and opportunities, you'll discover what segment your solution most aligns with. This is referred to as finding a beachhead opportunity, a specific customer segment with specific characteristics that make it an ideal target to sell a new product or service. Let's pause here to talk about customer roles. These stakeholder roles should look familiar from the ecosystem modeling session. Thinking through the various roles involved in adopting a new solution is key. And this is especially key as you do your interviews. Ascertain who are you talking with, what role they play or could play is going to be important to sort out what you're hearing and help you develop insights about customer segments, value propositions, and ultimately identify a problem solution fit. So in closing, after you've identified the players that fall under the aforementioned roles, begin shifting interview questions towards understanding what people in each of those roles care about. Now, in most cases, you may need to reach out to someone you've already interviewed because you're coming back with a new set of questions and discoveries to validate. So make sure that you end your interviews on a good note and ask if it's okay to reach out again if you have further questions. During your interviews, you want to ask questions to get an understanding of the key players that can influence the decision to adopt your solution. Some key things to note are it's important to understand each person's priorities and who may have vetoing power over the other. For example, if you got the yes decision from the decision maker, but the buyer who owns the budget is caught off guard because he or she was not consulted, or maybe the request phase of the budget cycle is closed, the opportunity to make a sale is gone. Influencers can weigh in on the decision, but it's important to understand how much weight they really have and on who. And again, be sure to keep an eye out for the beneficiaries of your product. In our session, we're going to do a workshop where you're going to build a customer segmentation model. You're going to use this framework to help get you started. Building a strong model can start as more art than science, so be creative. Represent the roles and jobs to be done as you understand them. Your interviews are going to help you refine this. Use this to identify what do we know, what do we need to know, and who do we need to talk to next. Here's a sample of the customer segmentation model that you're going to create. As you identify the stakeholders that hold different roles, be sure to focus on the jobs to be done by each of them. So what makes a good customer segment? First, problem solution fit. This means you do not ask, how do you like my widget? You ask open-ended questions about what problems they are trying to solve. How do they solve them today? What areas are they not satisfied with current solutions? And what do they wish they had? Ways to get unprompted information about their jobs and their real pains and gains. It needs to be addressable. A good segment is characterized by you knowing who to call, how to find them, and how to serve them. It needs to be efficient. Segment definition is important because ultimately you need to be able to find and serve the segment as efficiently as possible. For example, all people who like to eat is not a customer segment for a plant-based product you're developing as a low-carbon protein substitution for beef. It needs to be economically attractive. A good customer segment can pay for your solution. For example, water-soluble plastic with the potential to significantly reduce waste in the oceans is a great idea, but fish and marine mammals can't pay for the solution. So who is the segment who cares and has the ability to pay? And if that customer has a willingness and ability to pay, is that customer segment large enough to sustain a company? This is what makes a good customer segment fit and how you'll know as you build out your customer segments whether or not you're going down the right track.